The vow that shook the industry: how Jerry Yen rejected the spotlight and countless celebrities to marry Tong Liya, the reclusive prince of Asia. In an industry ruled by fleeting passions, PR-mandated romances, and tabloid-fueled affairs, Jerry Yen remained an enigma. The Meteor Garden star, once the most desired bachelor in Asia, never bowed to the pressures of celebrity dating culture. His image, clean, mysterious, quietly passionate, was protected like a national treasure. What the world didn't know was that behind that curtain of privacy, Jerry Yen had been quietly choosing love over and over again. A love hidden from cameras, contracts, and critics. A love named Tong Liya. And what's more, he rejected some of the biggest names in entertainment, walking away from glitz, beauty, and even career opportunities to stay loyal to one woman. This is the story of how Jerry Yen broke hearts across Asia, not by being a heartbreaker, but by guarding the only heart that ever mattered to him. Chapter 1. The Red Carpet Rejections. When Jerry chose silence over scandal. It began as whispers. A starlet at the Shanghai Film Festival reportedly left the after-party in tears after Jerry politely declined her advances. A Korean pop princess who flew in to co-host a variety show with Jerry left midway through production. A top Chinese actress reportedly had a private dinner scheduled with him cancelled just hours before. None of these incidents made the headlines, not because they weren't true, but because Jerry's camp kept them buried. And not because he was arrogant or cold, but because Jerry had already made his choice long ago. One insider, who had worked closely with Jerry on a mainland drama, confessed. It's not that Jerry didn't like anyone. It's that he was already in love. I once asked him why he never dated in the open, and he said, "Because my heart already belongs to someone. And it always will." That someone was Tong Liya. Chapter 2. The Unseen Bond. When Jerry met Liya. Their story began humbly. On the set of a low-budget indie film in 2013, Jerry Yen, at the height of his fame, had taken on a quiet supporting role under a pseudonym, hoping to challenge himself. Tong Liya, still fresh from her breakthrough role in Beijing Love Story, was cast as the female lead. It wasn't love at first sight, it was something deeper, an unspoken understanding. Tong Liya, graceful yet grounded, didn't treat Jerry like a superstar. She challenged his ideas, questioned his script notes, and laughed at his jokes not because he was famous, but because he was genuinely funny. By the second week of filming, the crew whispered about their late-night script rehearsals. But the truth was simpler. They were falling in love, slowly and privately, building a bond that would become unshakable. Chapter 3. The proposal no one saw coming. What shook insiders to their core wasn't just that Jerry rejected romantic prospects, it was who he rejected. At a high-profile international award show in Tokyo, he was seated beside a legendary Japanese actress rumored to have a long-standing crush on him. Paparazzi photos from the event showed her leaning into him, whispering, smiling. What they didn't capture was the moment Jerry stood during the private after-party and excused himself from the VIP lounge. Minutes later, he was in a quiet hotel suite, video calling Tong Liya. "I don't want to pretend anymore," he told her, his eyes watery. "Marry me. Let's build our world far away from all of this." Tong Liya, caught off guard, paused. "Are you ready to walk away from all this noise?" Jerry smiled. "I already have." Chapter 4. The Wedding in the Mountains. What followed was a wedding like no other. Secret, sacred, and cinematic. In a quiet Tibetan monastery nestled in the Himalayas, with no cell reception and only the sounds of chanting monks and rustling wind, Jerry and Tong Liya exchanged vows in the summer of 2015. No press. No designer gowns. No celebrity friends. Tong Liya wore a traditional Uyghur-inspired dress her grandmother had sewn by hand. Jerry wore a simple white linen suit and carried no phone, no script, no assistant. They made 3 promises to each other. 1. To never confirm their marriage publicly. 2. To put love above fame always. 3. To revisit the monastery every anniversary. No matter what. To this day they've never missed one. Chapter 5. The women he walked away from. It's one thing to fall in love. It's another to stay in love in an industry where temptation lurks at every corner. In 2017, Jerry was offered a Netflix original alongside an American actress known for her seductive screen presence. Rumors swirled about the chemistry test, that the actress had been flirtatious during auditions, and producers were pushing for an on-screen kiss. Jerry walked out of the deal. He told the director, "I don't kiss unless it's my wife," an anonymous production member revealed. Everyone thought it was a joke. It wasn't. In 2019, a Taiwanese talk show host brought up Jerry's rumored affair with a beauty queen. His response: "Why chase stars when I already hold the moon at home?" Tong Liya was watching the show that night from her Beijing apartment. She reportedly cried for an hour. Chapter 6. The secret that almost leaked. The closest their marriage ever came to exposure was in 2020, when a paparazzo followed Tong Liya on a trip to Switzerland and captured her meeting Jerry in a hidden chalet near Interlaken. The photos, blurry but intimate, never saw the light of day. A major gossip magazine paid for the exclusive and prepared a front-page headline: "Jerry Yan's secret wife revealed." But just hours before print, the editor-in-chief received a personal call. From Jerry. No threats, no legal team. Just one sentence: "Please don't break something sacred for clicks." The magazine pulled the story. The editor, in later interviews, admitted. His voice shook. You could hear the love in it. "I didn't have the heart to destroy it." Chapter 7. The night she almost gave up. Tong Liya, despite being the love of Jerry's life, often felt like a ghost in his world. Hidden, unacknowledged, silenced by the weight of his superstardom. One night in 2021, after receiving another anonymous message calling her Jerry's shadow, she almost ended the marriage. "You'll always have your fans," she told him. "But I have to live in your shadows." Jerry flew to Beijing that night. He stood outside her apartment in the rain for 3 hours, holding a soaked envelope. Inside were unsent letters. Hundreds of them. Letters he had written to her over the years, whenever he missed her, even when they were together. "I didn't hide you," he whispered when she opened the door. "I was protecting you. But if it's your shadow you hate, I'll walk away from the light." They embraced. The rain didn't stop. But neither did their love. Epilogue. The one woman he waited for. Jerry Yan could have had anyone. Actresses, singers, supermodels, actresses. But he chose Tong Liya, not for her fame but for her fire. Not for her looks but for her loyalty. He chose her when no one was looking, and he continues to choose her every day, even when the world's not watching. The industry may never fully know the depth of what they share. But in mountain monasteries, in handwritten letters, in rejected scripts and skipped galas, their love quietly roars. Because in a world where everyone is chasing love for cameras, Jerry Yan chased love for keeps. The women he walked away from, and the silent war he fought for love. The gala that became a battlefield. It was the kind of night that could make headlines before sunrise. The Asian Artistry Awards, hosted in Singapore, was known not only for its dazzling red carpet but also for its matchmaking magic. Jerry Yan was the most anticipated guest of the night. What no one expected was the ambush of affection that awaited him. As Jerry entered, cameras exploded with flashes. The crowd buzzed when he was seated beside Lin May, a megastar actress whose charm could melt marble. Throughout the evening she leaned closer, fingers subtly grazing his arm, her laughter echoing too loud in his ear. But Jerry, cold as winter wind. When the host jokingly teased them during the live broadcast, "We see sparks in the air," Jerry smiled politely and replied, "Only thunder, no lightning." The audience laughed. Lin May's face fell for a split second. Backstage, a reporter caught him off guard. "She's stunning, Jerry. Not even a little temptation." Jerry calmly replied, "I'm already with the person I'd trade 1,000 red carpets for." Scene 2. The accidental kiss on set. In 2018, Jerry was cast in a period drama with rising starlet Zhang Ying, known for her boldness on and off screen. The chemistry was undeniable, at least according to the director. Rumors swirled that the production company was hoping for a real-life love story to sell the drama internationally. During filming one stormy evening, a scene called for Jerry to rescue Zhang Ying from a collapsing temple wall. The shot was tightly choreographed, no intimacy written. But as Jerry caught her in his arms, Zhang Ying impulsively leaned in and kissed him. The camera caught everything. The director shouted, "Cut!" The crew froze. Jerry gently but firmly stepped back. He looked straight into Zhang Ying's eyes and said, "Don't mistake fantasy for reality. My heart doesn't live in scripts." The footage never made the final cut. That night, Jerry locked himself in his trailer and texted Tong Liya, "Even when storms come at me, I remember the calm in your voice." Scene 3. When he said no to Hollywood. Jerry Yan had just finished reading the script for a major American romance thriller set to be filmed in Paris. The lead actress was none other than Selena Reyes, Hollywood's most adored heartbreaker. She had personally requested Jerry as her co-star after seeing Down with Love. The producers called him to New York for a closed-door dinner with Selena. Every detail was meant to seduce. Candlelight, violinists, and a penthouse suite overlooking Manhattan. Selena, radiant in red, toasted to a sizzling on-screen affair. Jerry smiled, lifted his glass and quietly said, "I don't do affairs. On or off screen." Selena laughed, thinking it was banter. Jerry stood, shook her hand and said, "I respect you too much to pretend." When he returned to Taipei, he mailed the contract back and signed. Inside it, a note scribbled in ink. "No role is worth betraying the woman who sees the real me." Scene 4. The night he missed the Golden Globe party. It was the first time Jerry was invited to a Hollywood after-party at the Golden Globes. The invitation alone could unlock global stardom. His manager was ecstatic, stylists were ready. His tuxedo hung on a velvet hanger. But Jerry never showed up. While the stars were clinking champagne glasses in Los Angeles, Jerry was on a dusty road in rural Xinjiang, helping Tong Liya surprise her parents for their anniversary. They spent the evening lighting paper lanterns by a river, away from flashbulbs, far from gossip. Her father, unaware of their marriage, patted Jerry's shoulder and said, "You're a good friend to our Lily." Jerry just smiled, holding back tears, and whispered, "I hope to be more than that, forever." Scene 5. The confession that melted a rival. The only person who dared confront Jerry about his rejections was Crystal Fong, a longtime colleague and friend who once confessed her feelings during a shoot in Tokyo. On the final day of filming, she asked him privately, "Why do you turn down every woman who adores you? Are you waiting for someone perfect?" Jerry looked at her and for once dropped the mask. "She's not perfect. But she's mine." Crystal blinked back her tears. "Does she know how lucky she is?" He nodded slowly. "I remind her every day. Even if the world doesn't see us, she sees me, and that's enough." Crystal walked away without another word. That night, she posted on Weibo a cryptic message. "True love isn't loud. It whispers, waits, and never wavers." Fans thought it was poetic. It was actually a goodbye. Scene 6. The Midnight Letter. One of the most heartbreaking rejections came in the form of a letter, a handwritten note Jerry received from a Chinese singer-actress who had admired him since her teen years. It wasn't flirtatious, but deeply emotional. She wrote about how his songs helped her through depression, how she had fallen in love with his gentleness over the years, and ended with, "If you're ever lonely, I'll wait." Jerry didn't reply publicly. But privately, he spent hours writing a letter back. "You deserve someone who can meet you fully. My heart is already with the woman who saved me when I didn't even know I needed saving." He never sent the letter. It sits in a drawer in his Tokyo apartment, a silent monument to a promise already made. Final scene. The promise carved in stone. Atop a hill in Kyoto, where cherry blossoms fell like pink snow, Jerry and Tong Liya once visited a forgotten shrine, long before marriage rumors, long before tabloids hunted them. They found a weathered stone tablet, on which visitors could carve names as an offering for eternal love. Tong Liya hesitated. "What if someone finds it?" she whispered. Jerry pulled out a coin and carefully etched,